Hey guys, welcome back to Minecraft Programming with Python. So today we're going to be starting with teleporting with variables. What is a program? Well, firstly, a program is a set of instructions that makes your computer do a specific task. It's similar to a stopwatch. For example, a stopwatch has instructions that tell it what to do when you press start and stop. And someone has programmed that stopwatch to work in that specific way. There are millions of programs all around the world, and they are used up every day. For example, a phone's messaging app is a program. Traffic lights are controlled by programs. And Minecraft is a game, like many other games, which is created by programs. Storing data with variables. Variables let you store data to use later in a program. Data is information you might want to record, such as numbers, names, or any other kind of text, lists of items, and so on. For example, here's a variable called pickaxes. This variable will store the value 12. As you can see here, 12, and you've got pickaxe next to it. Variables can store numbers, words, and even complete sentences, such as take that zombie. Challenging variables allows you to do things such as taking advantage of your power of teleportation that will move on in future videos. As you saw before, in order to create a variable, you need a variable name and an equal sign, and a value. For example, if you wanted to take a load of food with you in Minecraft before a mining trip, you might want to type in something bread equals 145, and that'll create at least maybe 3 stacks, 2 stacks. The variable is always on the left side of the equal sign, and the value you want to store is always on the right. After you have declared a variable and added a value to it, you can enter the name of the variable into the Python shell to check that it is holding it. For example, after you've written here bread equals 145, you can type in bread again, click enter, and then that will bring up the value that you initially put up here, but this time in blue. Any name can be used for the variable, but it's better to use a name that describes a variable so it's easier for you to understand and you can relate back to it at any time. Note, start with a lowercase letter instead of capitals, so it's easier for you to read your code. Although the value of the variable is stored, it is not saved. So if it's not saved in computer's temporary memory, that means when you switch the computer off or the program switches off, the variable is no longer stored, so that will just be deleted forever. The structure of programming languages. Syntax is a set of rules that describes the grammar and punctuation of a programming language. If you do not use correct syntax, the computer won't understand what you're telling it to do. A single instruction in your code, like a sentence that has a full stop to create sentences, but Python uses a new line to indicate the end of an instruction. Each instruction is called a statement. If you wanted to keep a track of how many items you had in your inventory, you write it like this. So pickaxes equals 12, iron equals 30, and cobblestone equals 25. Because of these new lines, Python understands that you want to keep track of the 3 items. But if you do not want to use the 3 lines for 3 separate items, Python gets confused and produces a syntax error. As you can see here, all these 3 items that we saw before are listed consequently, and this produces a syntax error, invalid syntax, and it highlights what the problem is so you can easily find where you went wrong. Syntax error is a way of Python telling you that it doesn't understand what you told it to do. It won't be able to do the following instructions because where one ends, another one finishes. Python will also know what to do when you start a line with a space. As you can see here, it's highlighted that space. If an error like that happens, then you know there's a space at the start of your line of code, so go and check carefully if there is no red marking like there is in mine. Syntax rules for variables. Don't include symbols in your variable names, except for underscores or you'll get a syntax error. Don't start a variable name with a number, for example 9monkey. Always start the variable with a name or a letter rather than a number, for example monkey9. You do not need to add spaces on either side of the equal sign, but they make the code easier to read, and so it would be better to add them. So for an example, as you can see here, we're going to type in pickaxe equals 12. So the value 12 is stored in the variable pickaxe. We click enter now, and then a new line should start up. So now if we go and check that it is fixed in that variable, it's stored in that variable. See, now we can see that the value is stored in that variable. But if we want to change the value of that variable, then we can go ahead and type in maybe another different number. So pickaxe and equals 34. So if you're going to type in pickaxe again, this should change the value of it. There we go, 34. However, if you want to change the variable name, all we need to go and do is just write up a complete new variable name. So bread equals 34, same as before. If you click enter now, brand new line, so type in bread now. That changes the variable name that the value is stored in. Moving on, there are many types of variables. Data types tell the computer how to work with a particular piece of data. So firstly we're going to go to integers, and later on we're going to move on to float data types. Integers. Integers are positive or negative whole numbers, values like 10, 32, -6 and so on. However, 0.435 and 0.5 aren't actually integers. If you have 5 pigs in your Minecraft and you want to write a program that uses the number of pigs in some way, in Python you declare an integer variable to represent the number of pigs. For example, here we've got pigs equals 5. You can store negative values in variables. For example, temperature equals -5. Thank you for watching.